Welcome, everybody, to another episode of This Is Not a Green Room. I am your guest, Brendan Sagalow. Joining me, as always, is Rachel.
Watch your mouth.
Do you not say your last name on this?
No.
It's actually kind of like a through line here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I could be the fucking...
Well,
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a big old lie. That's not it.
I'm gonna beep it out.
I
don't understand.
beep it out.
But
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it with like a cow noise, so it's like, you know?
I don't get it though. You don't want to. Why don't you want people to know your last name?
Because that's like.
And that voice that we all heard is the owner of this establishment, as well as the New York comedy clubs, E. Scott Linder, everybody. Let him hear it.
Oh, thank you for letting me be on the podcast, Sags.
What does the E stand for?
Doesn't stand for anything.
And joining us, as always, Mr. Nick Angelo. How are you, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me, Brendan.
Yeah, you didn't think I could fucking do that?
Why are you yelling?
First time ever in podcast history that the guest does the open.
Which I actually think is a great idea.
That is a
great.
great fucking idea.
We
You're
should just
welcome.
record Brendan doing the open for every episode here on out.
No, it should be every guest. It
At
shouldn't.
that point,
just,
you'd
yeah.
have to start paying me, okay?
Royalties.
Services are not free.
Well, thank you, Brendan.
Thank you for the big reveal, Scott.
I just also want to add that
It's going to be cowed out.
you guys are giving me a lot of fucking agita today. Can we just take it down a notch?
I will take it down.
Sorry.
But I remember like a few months ago, we were doing some album recording and Scott was there. And I was like, I just was curious, who was your favorite comic? And he's like, I fucking hate everyone. I don't like any of them. They all suck. And he goes, wait. No, I like Sagalow. He's like, I really
made me feel
do. Like,
good.
I really like Sagalow. And
Now,
I was like,
here's the even bigger reveal, is that Rachel... I can't betray your trust. Oh, now I have to. She told me that before. She already told me that. See,
why do you gotta
I told you.
ruin
I
it?
told you.
Why?
No.
Yeah, but you already know that.
Rachel,
Sagalow,
yeah.
Sagalow,
Rachel comes out. She goes, okay, I'm going to tell the story about how Scott said he likes
it's
you.
touching.
It is very touching, and I love it very much.
Yeah, but you know that already.
I know.
You know that I love you.
And then me and Nick are like, why don't... But she's like, you can't tell Scott that I already told you. And
Yeah.
me and Nick were like, why? What's the...
Well, to be honest though, I think everybody loves you, man. I mean, people really like you.
Me?
Yes, and they think you're very, very funny.
God, I have no idea.
Scott
about
actually
any
did
of
say that yesterday. We were at the AES convention at the Javits Center, and we started talking to some fellas there, and they were like, they were coming to the club and like met Scott and like, oh, you're the owner. Who do you really like? And Scott said, I don't know. You don't know this guy, but I like Brendan Sagalow. He like literally
Very
said that.
true.
You said it yesterday?
Very true.
Yeah, he did
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
no, I do, but I'm not the only one. The 45 band loves Sagalow.
I love those guys,
Pablo
too.
and Adam.
Well, that's because
They think
Brendan
Sagalow's the best.
is a musician. I mean, before the show, we were literally just jammed out on the
Just
drums
jamming out.
and the guitar. I didn't know. I knew Sagalow like. I knew like you were in like a punk band when you were.
I
like,
wouldn't at
Heat.
all say that I was ever a musician. I fucking got a guitar in my angsty years, and I wasn't getting pussy, so I just fucking played that thing forever.
Really, I always see pictures of you with women.
Yeah, those were always like, I got friend zone.
Friend zone.
A lot.
Oh, big time.
I had a
really?
fucking VIP table in the friend zone.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So why do you think everyone loves you so much?
I don't know. I don't believe that.
But
I was
it's-
just talking to my therapist yesterday. I was like, I do not feel loved. I was like, I was like, I have no idea if people like me or not.
But
As a
and he
comic or
goes,
as a person?
Person. I'm very shy sometimes. Like last night, I just felt very shy. So
What did you do last night?
I went to the club.
you were shy around who? Like why? Like what?
I don't know. Just people. I was like, I just felt very shy. So I just went into my phone.
Huh. I mean, to be fair, I don't hear people talk about other comics like that, how they talk about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know, but this
Oh,
is
I'm
the
blushing.
thing. Your biggest fan, Eagle, was talking about you the
I
other
love
night.
Eagle.
And we kind of came to the conclusion.
Eagle quit.
That's what we'll say when he stopped doing stand up. What happened to Eagle? Hey, Eagle quit. That's so dumb. That was like a joke.
That was good.
That was like an old joke.
I think you don't believe it yet. Everyone believes in you, but you don't believe in you yet.
I believe in me. I just don't believe in everyone else to believe in me. if that makes any sense.
Well, are you talking about
I
as
don't
your-
trust people to catch the fuck up.
Are you as a comedian or you said just in general?
No, as a
overall?
comedian.
No, as like a comic in this. You know what I mean? Like this feels more like high school than high school did for me. You know what I
Interesting.
mean? Where it was like, I don't know. I just feel like I want to make people like me more than I did in high school. In high school I was like, I don't give a shit. I have my core group of friends. We fucking get high, we hang out, we skate, we play music, and that's all I fucking needed. And now I feel like I'm like, oh, God, I hope everyone likes me. I hate even thinking that.
Well, that's probably what the problem is because
Ice skating?
you're not cut out.
Yeah, we would go ice skating, and my friend fucking Jacob had a pretty good triple sow cow, so he would fucking let that loose.
on the fresh ponds of Long Island.
No, we had some ice rinks out there, dude.
Yeah?
No,
I love ice skating.
I meant skateboarding, but I think you knew that.
I
I
thought
think
you
you
were
knew
figure
that.
skating.
Yeah, we all got our fucking bedazzled dresses on and fucking.
Scott, I would love to see you ice skate.
No, I did a lot of ice skating when I was younger.
He
okay.
broke his ankle doing a triple Lutz, and he had to quit.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it Lutz or Lux?
Lutz.
What's Lutz stand for?
I don't know.
Lovely.
I see why you've joined this
It's not.
podcast
I don't think
today.
I don't think it's an anagram.
Scott has joined the podcast to bust everybody's fucking chops today.
I like it.
Is it Lutz or Lux?
Lutz, the
We
triple
gotta
Lutz.
get the intern to look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need a.
But you didn't.
need
You,
a
broke
producer.
your ankle and you had to quit. You don't really tell that story, so I just kind of gave that big reveal on you.
You did.
That
What?
happened.
Do you put your mouth on the microphone too?
Oh, love it. I love doing
You
that.
got to put your mic on so you can get in there.
That's how I do it on stage too.
It's called the proximity effect.
Really?
Yeah, the closer you are, the more low end bass response you get. Very interesting.
But there's no
So-
germs on there?
Yeah, there's
there-
germs. I don't
there's
mind about germs.
Germs everywhere, baby.
Germs helps. You need germs.
Yeah.
You need to get germs so that
Did you
you'll.
just burp?
Yeah.
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 You need germs so that your body will get.
Yeah, you can't
better.
coddle your immune system. Like you
sure.
have to
I
have germs.
love
so
to
you
coddle
Can,
my immune system.
You got to break
How
a few
often are
eggs
you
to make
sick?
an omelet.
Maybe once a year?
no.
1.5?
You weren't here 2 weeks ago because you said you weren't feeling well.
Yeah, because I didn't want to
That was a lie.
really get
Yeah.
sick, everyone sick. But I might get sick one more time when it gets really cold. But other than that,
Yo, I was sick as fuck last week for the first time. Really sick.
oh, I know
as
your boogers
fuck.
were everywhere.
everywhere. I was flicking them,
Ugh.
keeping them under tables like gum.
Oh, but you were still working?
No, I luckily when it like the big day, you know how a cold always has like this progression, the tippy top
He's
day.
using his hand and making an arc for those who cannot see us.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're doing a podcast. I had a fucking day off, so I was in. I had no shows, no nothing. Just stayed home all day eating carbs, which was the problem. I should have been eating protein, like chicken. But I had Chinese food for lunch, which is always a bad idea, and then fucking a burger for dinner.
That's protein.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then fine, whatever. I'm healthy.
Beef is protein. Meat.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was a beef burger.
I don't
Yes,
think we're allowed to
of
say the
course.
word beef on this podcast.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm actually not going to say your name anymore because I'm the one who has to go through and edit each one out.
Perfect. Oh my God! I hate all of you.
The more you say it, the more likely it is that it's not going to get edited.
It's just gonna just like meh.
Meow, meow, meow. All right, I won't say it
Brendan, this
anymore.
is the first time we've had you on by yourself. I feel like, remember you've been on the show
Oh,
so many times.
I
when
like
we had
this
it.
better than what you guys were doing in the green room.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you
course,
very much.
because it's more focused on you. Of course.
Yes.
No, because the green room was just a mess.
Yeah, and I kept bombing. I just was like, I'd throw,
yeah, you did.
I'd
You
throw
did bomb.
haymakers out
Yeah.
there, and my fucking fellow comics would leave me out to dry like
Yeah.
those cunts they
Because
are.
you made the mistake of coming on with Canon most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big mistake. But now I can hold my own, I think.
Yes.
Well, this is better too because when you're in a room with a bunch of comics trying to be funny, it's just let me see who can talk the loudest, and it's just like
Yeah.
this isn't fun for people to listen to, like if they're not comedians.
Dude, I had a fucking idea for a podcast where it's like basically like Wu-Tang Clan of podcasts where it's fucking this many chairs, this many people. Every single person has their own like reason why they're funny. Like, it wouldn't be like me and someone who's like me. It would be like me, Danny Del Coley, because he's quiet and he's got stories. And that's all I got.
then you
that's
just-
as far as I got.
And then you what? Just take turns
That's as-
talking?
No, we'd all talk and stuff, but I'd be fucking. Trust me, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this would be hard
I
because
was about
it's
to
a
say
bunch
it'd
of
be a
comics.
shit show. Yeah.
It would be, but unless you fucking tell everybody, get everybody riled up, like, don't fucking talk when someone's talking. Like, let them talk, let them do their thing. You give a little speech in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, there's a skill. Don't poo-poo. Like,
I love
No,
that.
I'm just
There's
saying it's hard to like when you listen to a podcast, you get used to the personality of the people that are on it,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's that many people, it's going to be a lot for people to really
Yeah.
get attached to like a person.
tell that to fucking Wu-Tang Clan.
Pod Tank
Okay,
Clan.
that's a bit
Yeah, but
different.
Wu-Tang Clan, they're black.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We'd get a black guy. We'd get fucking Pedro fucking...
That's the black guy.
He's a Spanish guy or whatever he is, Colombian.
If they're not white.
If they're not white, they're black.
I want to stay away from the black stuff because last time on the podcast, I got a lot of shit for talking about it.
I almost
From
didn't,
who?
I almost didn't post it because I was a little nervous.
Danielle Famble.
Hey, Danielle.
But doesn't she know you by now?
Yeah, she knows. She's just fucking with me.
Yeah,
but
we're all
I want to
just
get a little bit more specific. I want to ask Sagalow about him and his career.
Okay, let's fucking go.
Yeah, like an actual podcast.
Yeah, so look.
Let's get into it.
You're very funny.
Yeah.
And you've gotten more funny over the years. We've known Sagalow for some time now, 6 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a big progression in your comedy. And actually, there was a big gap of me not seeing you on stage. And
Yeah, like 2 years.
Yeah, I hadn't seen you on stage for a while because I don't go to the club at night that much because I generally don't like
People.
yeah. And I have family and kids, and it's but that's more of an excuse than anything. Really, I just don't like being around people.
Yeah.
But I went, I was at the club and I saw your set, and it was all new material, and it killed. Mm-hmm. So how do you get to that point where you're tipping the scales to killing most of the time?
Well, like, after a while, I think with me,
It's so weird to hear Scott give compliments. By
yeah,
the way.
I mean, this is amazing. And it feels weird fucking talking about my craft. I feel like a queef, but
Is it weird that I have my finger on my asshole as I give you a compliment?
on the pulse.
I can't believe this guy's my fucking boss. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, after a while, there's just so many people to blame until you start going, it's me. You know what I mean? I got to fucking write better. I got to work. I just wanted the bigger laughs. Like, every once in a while, you get like this rolling laugh, and then the rest of your set is like shit. So it's like math. You just go like, all right, well, let me just write. I'll just keep writing. So that's what I do. I write every day, and I work at the mics and stuff, and then I actually have like a, I have like a good system. I write every day, and then I just say it at the mics, see if it gets anything. The things that get a little bit of laughter, maybe even the things that I'm like kind of believe in, that I'm like, this mic was just bad. I believe in that. I'll take it to late night, right? So I'll do it at late night in front of real people, and that's where I'll work on the new stuff. And then on the shows, I do like the stuff that I've, curated, like that 5 minutes that killed the other night. I'll do that, and then I'll do late night, and whatever gets the big laughs there, I'll throw it into the act. So it's like, it becomes like simple math. It's like whatever's getting the big laughs, throw it in. Whatever isn't, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's
How many
like,
times do you have to not get a laugh before you throw a joke out?
it's getting shorter and shorter for me, which is bad. Like, I should be, but you always go like,
Yeah, but you kind of know.
sometimes, and sometimes you go, I don't really want to do anything like this. Like, there's some things that I say, like anytime I talk about my weight, I'm like, I've talked about it for years. I don't want to fucking talk about this anymore.
But you still do.
A little bit, because I'm still pushing that material out. Like, so I'm at Uncle Vinny's this weekend, and last time I did Uncle Vinny's, I have like the stuff I love and then the hack bullshit that I've been doing for years. And my whole goal is to make the list of the stuff that I love longer than the hack shit until it's completely gone. And so like I was at Uncle Vinny's a couple of weekends ago, and Uncle Vinny's is great. I love the guy and I love the room. It's good.
What is that? I don't even
It's
know.
a comedy club in Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
It's a BYOB comedy club. People are rolling in fucking kegs of doers, and they are going after it. So it's a hard, it's not. You're not. You don't feel like Patton Oswalt there. You feel like you're like I'm a fucking monkey for these people.
Patton Oswalt is your like idol, right?
He's what made me want to do stand up, but
Really?
Yeah. I really like his stuff, But anyway, so whatever. But yesterday I was looking at the set list and I was like, this is getting more and more of the stuff that I actually fucking like doing. And that's just the little things like that is like, oh, I'm progressing.
Is there ever like a joke that you love so much, but the audience doesn't care for it that much, but you just like, fuck, I want it to work so bad that you just keep
many.
Yeah.
There's so
Especially if you're on
fucking
the
many.
road.
Yeah. There's so many. There's ones that like will do so good the first time, and then just fucking nothing every single time I do it. I had this joke that I did in DC that I was like, this is a smart kind of joke, huh? The joke was basically like, I think gay people are very intelligent because they're the only people of the world that convinced us that if you don't like them, you're probably gay. That's like great. Anytime you meet somebody that's like, fucking any homophobe you meet, you're like, he's gay. You can't do that with anybody else, Like the Duke Wizard, that guy from the KKK, he's not like secretly being black. You know what I mean? So, he's not going to nightclubs and being a black guy, like all these fucking senators are.
Like a secret black guy.
Yeah. So
Like
that was basically the joke, and I did it in front of in front of this like black crowd, and they fucking loved it, and they were just standing, and like when a black crowd likes your shit, they like your shit.
Yeah.
So it's like they're standing, fucking high-fiving each other, blowing me while I'm on stage.
Getting dap on stage while you're on stage
fuck.
is like the greatest feeling you could ever have.
Oh yeah, it's the only time I'll ever feel fucking cool.
That was like my first goal when I got into comedy was like, I just want to get dap while I'm on stage.
Have a black guy be like, "You stupid."
Yeah.
Shit, you stupid, man.
Just
And then you're like, "Yes, I am."
just repeat exactly what you just said with the paraphrase as, "Yo, he said," and then just repeat.
Oh, yeah.
That's
This motherfucker say he's going to the club and being black. That shit crazy. You stupid, man.
Scott is not.
You don't like that? You don't like that impression? Scott checked.
What was that, Tracy Morgan?
Scott checked out.
No, I'm not checked out at all. I'm listening.
Anyway, so that was the joke, and it murdered the first time, and then it's just not doing well.
you got to do more
I
urban
can't.
rooms.
Yeah.
So now that your comedy has gotten semi better, right?
Okay.
What's the next? Where are you at in your career right now, and what are your goals?
To get dap on stage.
What are you looking to do?
get a good
what are you
dap.
doing?
What are you doing? What are you
It's
doing with
hard.
yourself?
Brennan, what are
It's
you
like
doing?
hard to answer that because I'm not that guy yet. I don't have like a fucking plan yet. There's some comics that are like. There are some comics that are like so, and they're the people that usually succeed too. The people that have fucking a plan.
They're calculated.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then everybody has different, like things for different things. Like
But you have to have something. There's something that you're working to. There's something
of
in the back
course.
of your mind
Yes,
that you're
yes.
like.
Well,
Are
right
you-
now I'm working on the act.
You're just working on getting funnier.
I'm working on getting funnier. I want a killer hour. I want because there's some comics that they look at it as time. They're like, oh, I've been doing it 9 years. I should put out an album. Like they look at it like that when it's not like, oh, I have the material. I should put out an album.
Yeah.
Like, and whatever. It's the only thing you can really control. So, it might not even pop off because albums aren't fucking good. Like no one really listens to them anymore. But you never fucking know.
How do you feel about that, Scott?
I don't give a shit.
He's right.
Yeah, people are still paying.
Somebody
me.
paying, yeah.
People are still
No, it's
paying
not
you.
that I don't give a shit, and I think it's really cool to have done so many albums. But I think in a lot of ways he's right.
Well, shit is rapidly changing.
I was about to
It's
say.
more of an
I
EP.
thought it was like on a uphill. With
Well, no,
albums.
I mean I think okay, so I think that comedy albums are a way more successful media form than music albums right now. Like there's actually comedy labels that are,
Yeah.
seemingly making money.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen as much in music, and it happens with like Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? But there's no like most self-producing musicians are not.
They don't need a
They're
label
not.
anymore.
Their music's not being played on Sirius, and they're getting money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the interesting about comedy albums is that you can actually make money from releasing
sure.
a comedy album, even if it's not that great.
Yeah, dude. I have 2 tracks on Sirius from whenever they did that Check Spot show at the club like 4 years ago. And one joke I don't even do anymore, and the other one is way better. And they still play it, which is fine. But every 6 months I get like a check for like $200.
That's awesome.
200-300. Sometimes it's like $350. I'm like, hey, they really fucking liked me this year or whatever. But now,
But it doesn't become a thing where like you see all your peers doing it, so now you feel like you need to do it.
I don't want to push. I don't want to. Right
wanna
now,
force
this
it.
is how I feel. I don't want to force anything that I don't want to fucking do.
Yeah.
So I have a vision of the comic I want to be, and that's really it. And like, there's people that'll tell me. I was just having this discussion with a couple comics the other night, where it's like shit is rapidly changing, and like people like Tim Dillon, who's a comic, but he's making videos. Like that's why people are. It's all about the videos now. It's all about the podcasting now. You got to fucking do that shit. Stand up is essentially just going to the gym. That's all it is.
I feel like stand up has always been that.
Yeah.
Is and particularly in comedy clubs, a comedy club is a gym. That's it. Like, it's like I always say, it's a very different art form. If you're playing the guitar, you pick up the guitar and you practice. You can't do that with comedy. You can't just stand in front of the mirror and tell these jokes that you wrote and know if they're funny. So, it's a completely different thing. So you need a gym, you need a place to be able to work out. And that's what the comedy club is for.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, is to work on your material, to use that to propel yourself in some form of your career, whether that be writing, for the Daily Show, or having a sitcom, or, doing an album that sells or whatever, gets a lot of streams.
Yeah, movies or whatever.
But again, like that's what the comedy club is for.
Yeah.
It is a gym.
Yeah, for sure.
So what Scott just said, and to go back what you said, because you said you don't have it's not calculated. Your plan's not. You don't really have a set goal. Scott just listed off certain types of goals. You don't have any of that as a landing destination for you? Or are you just trying to.
I wouldn't call it goals because, I don't know, maybe I sound like a fucking idiot, but you look at someone like Schultz, who's like very calculated. He's very like, I'll do this. We'll film it. I'll put it out. This will be a thing. Blah, 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 blah. And who knows? And maybe maybe in a year, I'll be disagreeing with myself. But right now, I'm like, I just want a fucking killer hour. Once I have that, I'll record an album.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Once
what
I do that.
That's his answer to the question is, what are your goals? He's saying, I want to be funnier. I'm working on my act.
Well, I think what you just said is very, very important to because you said the successful people probably have goals and stuff. But what you just said is maybe in a year I'll disagree with myself. And that's important about your goals, because sometimes people set goals and if they don't reach them, the wheels fall off. And
Yeah.
it's like, you got to be able to be like, hey, I want this, but if I don't get it, maybe I go down this avenue.
Yeah, I am a emotional wreck, and very much I doubt I'm a very I doubt a lot of things, and I'm fearful of death and all this stuff. So it's like if I put myself in a position where the fucking wheels will fall off, it'll just not be good.
Yeah.
So I don't want to set unrealistic goals. Right now, the only thing that I feel is that I can do is record an album. Write an hour, record an album. When that's done, write another hour, record a special. Do it like the old school way, but that's the only way that feels comfortable to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I feel like just because I've been at this club way longer than I even thought I was, and just your whole demeanor is different than even a year ago.
For sure.
And I think that's a lot.
I think
because of your therapy has helped that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Therapy is the fucking best. I love it so much.
But you're also kind of a cool kid now.
I know I wouldn't say that.
You're sort of cool. You know what I mean?
I don't.
It's so funny how everybody's
I know
vision
the
of Brendan
real
is
you.
so different.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I don't know. You're
No,
like
a lot
you're
of the younger comics really look up to you, and I don't think you realize that.
You're like a cool guy. You're like, I mean, not really.
Oh yeah.
That's probably
Well, you remember me when I had little brother
Like
energy.
you have jackets,
I have a lot of
your
jackets.
hair is blonde, whatever that is. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's cool.
I'm doing well on
you're-
stage.
You're trying to
Yeah.
you're trying to present yourself in a certain way,
For sure.
which is something I don't think you used to do.
That's
No,
probably
I-
why he doesn't feel comfortable all the time. That's probably why you feel shy around people sometimes, because you're like, I'm always worried about people, liking me. Do they like me? And meanwhile, because what Scott's saying is like, you're not the guy with the jacket and the blonde hair.
No.
Like, you are now. So it's like you're like living a double life.
Yeah, but there's the
Speaking of
comics
therapy, by the
that don't give a shit about that, and that there's just I never thought I would desperately want someone to like me. You know what I mean? Like I never really gave a shit.
Yeah.
But now I find myself being like looking at these dudes that are like these guys I look up to who are making it, and I'm like, God, don't fuck up, don't say something stupid.
Do you want to get, sorry, Scott, do you want to get to that point? Do you want to get to that point where you just don't give a fuck? Or do you want to kind of
course.
still be like this because
this
has gotten you this far?
The only thing I want to give a fuck about is the act and what I'm doing and that. I don't want to give a fuck about what people think of me. I don't want to give a fuck about what's going on, outside of my fucking. I don't want to read on Twitter about who's fighting who and who gives a shit. I do not give a fuck about that stuff, and I don't want to. But I still feel like unaccepted. So I'm like, that's still kind of itching at the back of my head where it's like, yeah, and then you see all these other guys. I just got to keep the blinders on because it's so hard to like
not compare.
It's so hard to be like, well, what is that guy doing? Why is he fucking, or why did she just get off the bus and move to New York and everybody's fucking with her? And I've been grinding for years.
Everybody has their own journey.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own journey, but where are they going to be in 5 years? Who knows?
Exactly.
Where are you going to be in 5 years?
And if I stay positive and I think of shit like that and I'm, I just don't become bitter. That's like, I do not want to be a bitter guy. I don't want to be a bitter comic.
Those guys are
Those
the
guys
worst.
suck.
Those guys are the worst.
Ugh.
yeah, like guys like Nick
Oh, Nick.
and myself for that matter. Nick and I are the same person, by the way.
But in fairness, I'm no longer a comic.
No,
Just bitter.
Just a
better.
funny guy.
But what I was going to say was, one, I'd love to know who are the comics that you look up to that you find are successful in your eyes, and two, how much of your depression about maybe that's an extreme word, or maybe not. How much is your anxiety, depression, whatever, towards other people succeeding around you, fueled by social media?
Oh, it's
we
anxiety
all-
is
we
the
all
word for
feel-
sure.
Anxiety, yeah. We
Yeah.
all feel that when we're looking at social media. I feel the same way with clubs, and certainly Emilio does with The Stand, or,
Yeah.
like looking at social media, being like, they're doing this, they're doing this. I do that with the studio. Like, this studio is so much better. They're doing it. It's all actually sort of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But we all fall victim to it.
Yeah.
Who,
Of course.
The question is, who are the people that you're looking up to right now,
Uh-huh.
and how much does social media give you anxiety?
Great questions. Fucking great. How good did that feel, laying that question out?
Feels good.
Well, the people I look up to are like, like Big J and like those guys that are fucking the best comics in the city right
But
now.
they've been doing it forever, Brendan.
Yeah, I know. But, it's I'm not comparing myself to them. I just want them to like me. You know what I mean? But even saying that is so fucking queefy that it's like, I just have to come to terms with maybe I'm not going to be one of those guys. Maybe I'm just a dude. Maybe I'm just my own fucking guy. I got my own friends. And every time I run into like Soda or whatever, we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Soda have been getting closer. And that's a guy that I look up to. Joe List, Mark Norman, those guys. But I never feel like, those guys are like, they're not going to, a lot of the times they're not going to call me. You know what I mean? They're not going to call me and hang out and we'll go see a movie. Unless I,
But
maybe.
what if they call you like next year to open? Isn't that
I've opened
even,
for a lot of those guys.
I mean, to me, that I would think that would be more rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to think too, though. Like, Jay was doing this 10 years before you even started doing comedy.
Yeah.
No,
What? Oh yeah, he's been doing
Yeah.
this.
He's
So-
been doing it
dude,
for-
I remember seeing his Comedy Central presents when I was in like high school.
that's
and
what I'm
being
saying.
Like, Look
So
at this fucking
you're in a
guy.
and you're. It's just a different. It's just a different group of people.
Of course,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. Like you have your own group,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's the shit that I'm like shaking off with therapy. Like therapy's been such a fucking help. I just go in there, I bitch about that shit, and he just goes, "Yeah, well, that's what it is." And he's like, "What do you want to do about it? Like, what are you gonna do about that?" And I'm just like, yeah, you're right. It just is what it is. So
Does this guy ever give you solutions to your questions? Like, it just seems like he's like just a tough love, like, fuck you, like kind of.
he never goes, this is what you got to say, or this is what you got to do. Actually, he kind of does.
Well, that's not really the point of therapy. Therapy, you got to kind of figure it out.
Well,
on your
no,
own.
but you
No,
also
but you want advice.
Getting some suggestions is always a good thing.
He's big on asserting.
Or like, you know, actual tangible tools to how to deal with
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
he
not-
does.
Yeah.
He does in a way where it's like if I'm complaining about my girlfriend or whatever, and I'm like, she, did this and did that. My biggest problem is I don't bring it up. I just kind of like sit with it. I'm like I guess that's the only part of me that's like super Irish, where I'm like, keep a smile on until I fucking die. And he's like, you gotta say something immediately. He's like, almost immediately. If not that week, you have to say something. So that's been helping me assert, and it's so uncomfortable because I do not do that shit. But
I'm sure your girlfriend will appreciate it.
Of course. And every time after, I always feel relieved. I'm always like, oh, wow, that did feel good. And it's getting easier and easier and easier.
Totally.
And that's,
we are very similar in that.
yeah.
I think all men are like that. They love to hold shit in. They don't like confrontation.
Well, that's where
they don't
that
like
fucking-
to
That's
hurt
not true.
feelings.
That's not
like
true.
it's so annoying.
Have you ever met Scott?
Have you ever met me?
If you say something
I
in
said
front of
most,
Scott that
not
you
all.
don't,
but
that he doesn't
I
agree,
would-
he'll tell you.
Yeah, but I'm not like most people are not quite as,
Yeah,
uncensored.
you're the one extreme, but I wouldn't say that
But
most
I
guys.
would say that that's a fair assessment of men versus women. Like men they don't want to talk about shit. They just want
No.
to fucking eat popcorn or whatever and watch the movie. And
Yeah.
the girl's like, so how was their day or whatever. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
I also, I come from a family, which by the way, he's huge on that. He hates families. My therapist fucking hates them. Hates parents. Really fucking
Did he
hates.
not have any? Like, what do you mean he hates parents?
I think he had a fucked up thing with his parents, but he's like, it all stems back to your family. Everything.
it's
So
it's a learned behavior.
every time we talk and I'm like, why am I like this? Why do I do that? He's like, why do you think? And I'm like, oh yeah, my mom probably did something. But that's where like the thing of me not wanting to say anything comes from my family. Because I remember we'd get in this big fight. Like we fought all the time, my family. And then we just would go up to our rooms or whatever. And then, or like I'd be fighting with her on the phone. I'd be like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd
To
get
who?
my mom. And super white suburban kid. I was saying, fuck you. And, that was for not every time, but, that was,
Fucking figure skaters.
we're a hard group,
Yeah.
So whatever. But like we'd get home and it would barely be talked about, if not talked about at all.
That is the weirdest shit. That happens in my family too. Like if something weird happens, I can't just go on without dealing with it. And everyone in my family is like, let's pretend it never happened. I don't know how to deal with that.
I
So-
think that's normal and not healthy, but it's normal. If I see a family, there's like, hey guys, we need to really sit down together and talk about what happened. Like that's
Well, no,
fucking bizarre.
You don't have to do it like
is
that.
very bizarre, but yeah, you have to say something. You have to be like, and you have to be willing to be like, all right, well, fuck you. If you don't want to fuck to anybody, even like, which I have more of a hard time doing that with. I used to have that was like the hardest thing to do is tell someone to fuck off when they're like my girlfriend or my parents or whatever. But that's what you got to do. You have to be like, you have to change or I'm not talking to you anymore.
Does your therapist ever tell you you have to be more selfish?
Yeah.
Because I get that.
Oh yeah.
I get that all the time.
I don't
It
think
blows
he
my
would
mind
say-
because you think the word selfish is a negative thing, but it's like, no, you got to do what you want to do.
Well, he
Yeah.
used to since you're done with that therapist now.
You stopped going to a therapist?
He got a new job.
Yeah, he was Nick.
What?
Nick was the
What?
I know.
Push him
What
out.
is your therapist doing now? Construction?
I pushed
This is
him
why you
out.
don't go to therapy in Astoria.
Yeah.
Nick pushed him over the edge.
What?
I told him about my childhood.
Is he
growing up,
making
and
sandwiches at a
he's-
deli now?
I know.
I think he's just unemployed.
I try to
collecting
move
those
on.
checks.
Maybe this therapy thing
He
ain't
said
for me.
He said to me, "You need to be more selfish." Speaking of that, so do I. I'm no longer a therapist.
He said it like that.
What?
No, I'm totally making. it up. No, he got a better job at a hospital and everything.
I was gonna fight this guy if he said it like
I'm
that.
so scared to go into therapy. I know that I need to, but
You got to.
Yeah, you think?
You got to. But it's
Yeah, it helps big time.
but it's
Maybe
also
if we
like
had insurance.
it's like
I could-
rehab,
Get insurance. You make a lot of money. You can afford insurance. What am I, your baby daddy or whatever the fuck it's called?
Well, there's also other people.
I got to insure you.
Well,
I
but
mean,
they're.
yeah,
Well, I'm
I
just
mean, come on.
scared. I'm
She's
scared
away.
to,
I mean, it's
to
different.
bring
You
about.
guys don't get health insurance?
No.
No.
What are you fucking kidding me? She's a server in New York City. She makes a lot of money.
Oh yeah, you could afford it.
Whatever.
There's
on.
also sliding scales and
Do you-
shit.
First of
Yeah.
all,
Okay, that was not where I was going with that,
insurance
Scott. Anyway,
is too much.
You
It's too much.
gotta, you gotta go to. I mean, I went to therapy, and I came from old school Pittsburgh, where it's like, like going to therapy means you're weak. Like I have friends that are like, "Oh, I ain't going to therapy. What? I'm gonna go to therapy. What happens if he tells me I'm
Cool, and then
I'm-
they blow their brains out.
Yeah, and it's like, what happens if I go to therapy and I find out I'm gay? I'm like,
What?
First off, it doesn't work like that. Second off, it
Oh,
doesn't work like that.
Second,
That's
and third
actually-
off, if you're worried about that, you should suck a cock.
Yeah, and that's why
Figure it out.
and that's why the gays are the smartest people on the planet.
Boom, we did it. An
There it is.
hour-long bit.
Okay, now that the part two of the question is that how much does social media affect your anxiety? I know
So
from personally
much.
speaking, it's like I'm constantly like I should just delete it. And sometimes I went through a couple months where I deleted my Facebook and everything, and then I'm always like I'm gonna delete it. I'll delete it off my phone, and then that night it's back again.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
crazy.
It's
It destroys
disturbing.
me.
Why do you want it back?
I don't know. It's an addiction.
It is an addiction.
But
yeah.
you know what I do now, so that I don't have to see people and like compare myself. I follow like animals and like nature pages, and it's a totally different world on Instagram.
course, yeah.
It's just like, and the inspirational stuff. Like no one thinks to be like, oh, this is stuff that's actually healthy to look at, instead of like people just showing their finest moments instead of like their darkest days, because no one's gonna show you their dark shit.
No.
Well, it's not even for me at least. It's not even. I think Brendan was kind of touched on this. It's not even like the people who are pretending their life is awesome. It's everyone's goddamn opinion about something they have nothing.
Yeah, well, that's Twitter.
Yeah, and I
Everybody-
can't,
I'm not
that-
even on Twitter.
It's
But
destroying
dude,
me.
I've like, because for a comic, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit is kind of like you have to
You
have
kind
it.
of have to
Yeah.
do it.
You have to do it if you want to progress and not be a fucking road comic for the rest of your life, So I'm on it, but it's like if I'm on Instagram, anytime I feel like why not me, I close the app and I do something else. Anytime I feel bad, I just close the app. And with Twitter, I used to get in those fucking wars of like bitching about, during this whole comedy, when Shane got fired and everything, I was putting my fucking 2 cents in. And you step back from it and you're like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was like, that is embarrassing. What am I doing?
That's what put me over the edge is the comedy Civil War. And I was like, first off, get over yourselves.
It's just so
okay?
silly, yeah.
Jesus Christ. No one gives a shit about this except for the handful of comics that have an opinion about it.
Yeah, well, I'm having an internal civil war, so I don't even give a shit.
What was your opinion on the Shane thing?
It was dumb. I don't think, look, it's like, whatever. They wanted to fire him, they could fire him. Maybe his apology, there's all these different fucking things. Like maybe his apology wasn't that good, but he also had to stick up for what he believed in, or else he's going to be this he could have fucking apologized, gone on his knees, and sucked everybody's dick. He could have fucking sucked Bowen Yang's
But
dick.
that wouldn't change what he said.
And they still might have fired him. Oh, what he said?
I mean, if
That's ridiculous. He was obviously joking.
I didn't hear that. I only heard people talk about it. I didn't actually hear
Which is
it.
the worst thing ever.
That's the worst thing. And people don't even listen to the pod. It's like, listen to a couple of podcasts. Get to know these guys before you fucking throw this dude under the bus like that. He was the most hated dude in America, maybe the world for a little bit. Like,
I don't think the world.
I
Pretty
don't
sure
know.
the Syrians and the Kurds
Yeah,
aren't really.
I think Trump is.
yeah, Shayna Gillis.
Yeah, they're not worried about.
Oh, I don't know
They're
why I
worried
did
about their
an Asian-
baby's head being blown off,
Yeah,
not some guy calling someone a chink.
Yeah, it was, but with that, he was obviously joking. He was doing a character. Like it's, and he actually at one point in that clip, he's talking about going to a Chinese restaurant with his girlfriend, and her looking at the menu and being like, "Ooh, noodles," which is racist, and him being like, "Yo, chill," like him being the guy that's like, "Well, you can't do that here," which is like, that's him saying you can't, like, it's just ridiculous. And obviously the guy's just trying to be funny. People don't know him, so I get it. I know the guy. I don't know him that well, but I know he's always been super nice, and I never really believe anyone's unless you feel the hate in their heart. Like, what the, like, fuck off. But maybe he had to lose a job. Who knows? He'll be fine. I guarantee
Probably better off for it.
he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Getting SNL doesn't mean anything nowadays.
It's
Well, I don't
but
know if that's true.
That's not true at all. But
You're wrong.
No, I mean you can get SNL and you can
SNL
just
is still
never
a
be on the
fucking
show.
millionaire maker.
Yeah. I mean,
It can.
Not everybody, but yes,
yeah, not
a
everyone
lot,
gets it.
a big chunk.
A big chunk. Yeah. It's a good stepping stone. But anyway, whatever. So I was bitching about that on Twitter, and I was like, this is embarrassing. What am I doing? First of all, you kind of, I'm not going to say I don't want to stick up for what I believe in or whatever, but you do separate. You put yourself in a group. I'd rather just secretly have my opinions now.
But
you know what I mean?
It's
then
also
there's
good to
people
get
like,
passionate and express yourself. You know what I mean? That's
yeah, but
not-
you're cutting this is a business, and it's a lot of people don't see it like that anymore. They see it as a fucking club. You know what I mean? Like a community. Oh, we're all which is great. It's nice to have friends, and it's nice because those are the people that are going to help you. But it's a fucking business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put my goddamn opinion out there when it's not making me any money, and it might be making me lose money. There could be people that have jobs working for Samantha Bee, and I don't think I'd be a good writer for that show. But I'm immediately cutting myself out because I have this opinion that they don't agree with. So now they're gonna see my packet and go, "Oh no, fuck that guy. He's a cunt on Twitter." Like it's still a business, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
to be
like-
fucking. Putting your for what 40 likes, suck my dick.
So what do? You delete them?
I deleted all of them, everything. Every time I mentioned, and now I'm just like, just be funny. That's it.
Yeah, you got to know what hill to die on. I heard a phrase the other night that says, know the difference between what's an anthill and a mountain. And if it's an anthill, walk around it. And if it's a mountain, if you're going to climb that mountain, be prepared to climb that mountain.
I feel like that's Nick. You're a goddamn genius. You know that? I love Nick.
Yeah. But as if you're gonna go on Twitter and start voicing your opinion and trying to fight things do you really care? Do you
No.
even really care about it?
It was really funny too. Like in the middle of this whole thing, where, like, what are you guys talking about?
They've completely
She's-
checked out, by the way.
Yeah, no, she's.
I tried
know,
to be
she-
professional. And,
I just see what
and
time
ignore
we're
it.
at.
I say
guys?
climb a mountain and everybody falls apart.
Scott is
We all
usually
went
the one
into the
in the
valley.
booth keeping time.
Who cares? We're gonna split this up into 3 episodes.
I can talk as long as whatever.
Well, I want
I'm
to talk. I
talking
want
till
to.
4,
I want to
like-
talk because we're talking social media, and I want to talk about your Instagram because it's fucking hysterical.
Oh, thanks.
Like
is funny.
Should I follow you?
the videos that Brendan does on Instagram. So if you're listening, make sure you follow Brendan on Instagram because he puts out hilarious little videos that every time.
It's fun to it's fun to just try and like do something because like that French video that I
Yeah.
made. That was just like, let me see if I can make a little French video.
You do like just it's silly comedy, and that's not supposed to be an insult. It's silly, it's goofy, doesn't
Thanks, man.
mean anything, but it's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
But
thanks.
it's a different side of you than you on stage, I feel like.
Yeah, on
It's much
stage.
sillier.
On stage, on stage I'm not that silly. I'm bitching. I'm just bitching about things that don't fucking matter. Like kids on leashes, I've been bitching about that, and it's just like
It's so funny. I love that. My kid was on a leash for a bit.
What about cats on leashes? I love cats.
I
on
always
leashes.
judge
That's
kids
cute.
on leashes for a long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But my kid, I swear to God,
You got a runner?
yeah, I mean, he would die. Like it was like
In
he's
this
gonna
city,
die,
in this city, you kind of
You just
may
run.
have to think
Yeah.
about putting a kid on a leash.
and you can't catch up to him because he's so fast, and it's like he's gonna go right into the fucking street and get hit by a car. I mean, my other kid wasn't like that. you know?
wow.
And my wife got a fucking leash, and I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Did
something,
people
but
give
I
you?
was
Did people like look at you and laugh?
Is that what happened
Probably-
when you're an
There
old?
was definitely looks, but you're also looking for looks. You're like, oh my god, my kid's on a leash. There's a lot of things.
Anybody
that
from New York probably not giving you a look on
You
that.
judge until it happens to you, and then you're like, my god.
Well, that's like the joke that I'm doing. I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
like every kid should be on a leash here, and it's
but
like
is that
wrong
what
if you
older
don't.
parents do? Have to keep their kids on leashes because they can't keep up?
Maybe.
No,
yeah, my wife is. Believe me, she can keep up. She's a fitness instructor.
I'm not talking about Heather. I'm talking about you.
No, if the kid gets off the leash, Scott's just like, we'll make another one.
Yeah,
it's
older parents are going to be like, if he runs, he runs. We'll
Yeah.
just, survival of the fittest.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like, but even with those videos
kidding,
and
Scott.
stuff, you old fuck.
Yeah,
I don't
this-
give a shit, dude. I don't care. I'm fat. I'm slow. You know what I mean? Like
Me too, man.
my life has been taken away from me now. My children have ruined me. Ruined me. They have. I mean,
And you got that bub ankle from doing that triple Lutz way back in the day.
I still think it's Lux, but yeah.
whatever. You still got a bum ankle. But anyway, Brendan, do you feel like you found your voice?
I don't know.
Is that just a bullshit question that someone asks a comic?
I don't know. It's very queefy, but I don't know. It's no offense.
What's queefy? What's wrong with? What's the deal with queefy?
Queefy is like
I know what a queef is. But
when someone's queefy.
From where?
They're like adjacent to douchey. You know what I mean?
This
Where
is
it's
a
like,
new term I'm learning today.
I like saying it a lot.
Okay.
it's like slippery.
It's
like
in the
Probably going to be the title of this episode.
Queefy.
Queefy with Brendan Sagalow.
I mean, I know what queefy means. It's just a weird term to be using.
I like it.
Do you not like it? Like,
Roast
It's just
queefy
like-
cheese.
It's just like when you're a queef, you're like, someone who fucking
Full of hot air.
someone who that's great. Someone who like brags about like donating to charity is like such a queefy move where it's like shut the fuck up. Just donate.
I
you
think
cunt.
Brendan has found his voice. I don't think Brendan knows he's found his voice yet.
Well, I asked that because
I don't even know.
I mean, like when you're writing jokes, do you write them for like this is how I feel, and
No.
how I say it, or do you like this is funny if I say it like this? Because
Yeah.
like you just said on Instagram, you're being silly, and that's not you on stage. And like, is there a difference? Are you trying to tie it all together? Or are you okay with
I don't
being-
know. I think it's not as complex as that. It's like I just write whatever I think is funny and whatever someone might have not said already. You know what I mean? Like I hate when I hear comics say things that everyone's saying. Like when someone goes like, the blah 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 that can only be described as, like every comic is doing that, and it's like, yeah, the first time somebody said I can only describe this as blah, it's like the first time someone did that, that's funny, but shut up, stop doing that. I would never write that line again. Could you imagine writing a line? Or when somebody what's another one? Oh, when they're doing an impression, I hate this. When they're doing an impression and they go, "This is my impression of George Bush licking a turtle," and then they go, "George Bush licking a turtle." They like do it again, and
Right.
it's like, shut the fuck
Stupid.
up.
That's been done.
Why are they
to
doing
death.
that?
Oh,
Yeah.
they think that's how you fucking have to tell a joke. All these people learn how to be funny. It's like you do kind of learn how to be funny, but it's like why just don't write what everybody's writing. This is like it's like crazy. Try to write something different. You know, try to write something new or something that might sound like
try
you.
to write something because it sounds like
Maybe
you're
I'm-
describing a lot of the
Maybe I'm bitching about people
the
too
alt
much, but-
scene awkward, like, oh, I'm awkward, this
No,
happened
there's
to me.
There's a lot of killers that are in that scene and like
No,
you know,
I'm not saying it's all bad, but like a lot of that's like it's like you're saying the same awkward joke that everyone else is saying.
There's that for everybody though. Even in the club comedy, it's like there's that like the thing like it can only be described as is like a very club comic, I think, thing. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like I'm bitching about people too much, but nah, it's just like just trying to write something different and unique and funny. And if it doesn't get a laugh, I throw it away. You know?
And that's got to be why it's also really important to be at the clubs all the time. Because unless you see comedy all the time, you're not going to know what's being said continuously.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's amazing how unoriginal most things you think of are.
Yeah.
You know, like we're doing the comedy competition, and we have 10 comics, which Sagalow won actually.
First ever
First
winner.
ever.
Yeah. Gang.
So for you comedy competition people who are listening, your career is not going to be propelled by this competition.
Yeah. I kept saying, you guys got mad at me because
No,
I kept saying that on stage, like
I know.
when you guys asked me to host it, and I was
know.
like, and
We
I
can't-
won last year, and look at me now.
I know, it's a joke.
and Amelia would come up to me and be like, "Come on, man, don't say that." he's like, can you not shit on the competition? I'm like, it's the truth. Look,
Yeah.
look at me.
Well, you're doing okay.
I'm doing great.
You're on this podcast. You're doing swell.
I'm having so much fun.
What the fuck was I saying now?
About
though?
the young kids on the
Oh
competition.
yeah, it's that so many of them are saying the same thing.
Dicks and pussies.
which is nothing really.
It's all dicks and... Does anyone write jokes that doesn't
No, they
revolve
do.
around sex?
There's so many dick
They
jokes.
do. Sometimes jokes are bad because someone doesn't have confidence in it. Sometimes jokes are good because you have too much confidence in it. It's a lot of those like I'm at the New York Comedy Club open mic like all the time.
What would
And-
you like them to talk about that they're not talking about? Nick?
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes you a good comic. You go up and say something, and I'm like, that's original.
Yeah,
oh,
you
I
think-
haven't heard that
yeah, you
before.
gotta
I
think,
never
"Ah,
thought that
fuck, I
before, but I
should've-
do think, oh, that's
How
funny.
did I never think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I was
It
just saying that
seems
the
so
other day, but
simple.
you made it so funnier. Like that's what I want to hear. Now look, I mean, they're younger comics, they're new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting them to be fucking lights out here, but like I don't know, making fun of sex. Oh, I saw my dad's dick. Like,
That could be funny though.
it could be, but
that's
guess
still
what?
funny.
Usually isn't.
Well, if
I
it's
think
their
that's-
personal story,
Well, but I
it could
feel
be
like
really
that's
funny.
why Schultz is really killing it, because he is taking such weird subject matter and like luring you in with you're about to think he's going to say something so crazy, and then it makes complete sense.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You just like his ass.
Yeah, that's. But he's like a really, really established, funny guy that's found his
Can I
voice.
just respect a comic for their actual work? Why does it have to take to a sexual level?
That's what I just said.
Why?
That's what I just said.
Because if
God,
Scholes,
meatball.
I bet if Scholes
Brendan talked about him earlier.
I bet if Scholes,
what is the problem?
I bet if
I
Scholes
wanna suck his
looked
dick.
like Sagalow, you wouldn't think he was funny.
That's
Okay.
not true.
Ooh.
That's
First of all, I don't find him
But
attractive.
that's
But I
actually a
don't
very
find him
Very
attractive.
hurtful
That's-
comment,
That's very
Let's stick
insulting
with
to
it.
Brendan.
but let's stick with it.
But I think, but
Very
that-
hurtful.
I think
Very
that's
hurtful.
very
Good theory.
Very important, and it's almost like
Or if he
finding
looked
your
like me.
finding your
I'll
voice.
keep it to
You have
myself.
to know
You're a
what you look
good-looking
like
guy.
when you're writing jokes. Like if I'm like I knew when I would go up on stage and I was I'm the big fat funny guy. Okay, if I go up on stage and I start doing my Lewis Black and I fucking hate everything and blah, blah,
You
it's-
could, though.
but
nobody-
a lot of,
but
a lot of
the-
crowds would like
yeah,
would
but
be
no,
scared at first.
Yeah, but
be
there
like,
isn't that guy. That's who you want to. If that's who you want to be.
I also felt fake too. And
well,
it was-
if you feel fake, you don't want to.
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to know who you are. You have to know what you look like. You have to.
If something feels comfortable and nobody's really doing it, you should do it. Like
Yeah.
if there is there is no fat guy that's like whatever fucking doing a Lewis Black kind of like bitching and screaming at the top of his lungs. I mean, there was Kinnison, but since then I there's probably tons, but I don't know any. So it's like good. That's what you should do. If you see something that everybody's doing, don't fucking do it unless it will help you. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
It's a good PSA.
I think I'm gonna come back. I think I'm gonna come back to stand-up comedy
Do
now. And be
stand-up.
the Lewis Black that gets angry
come
about
in with
my
fucking
food.
with like
I want more French fries.
white hair. Yeah, yeah, you know. But if people laugh at it, it's all about fucking what are people laughing at? Is it a long laugh? Is it a good? I write in my notebook like I re-listen to my sets and I write next to the joke. I go big laugh, small laugh. If there's no laugh, out. If it's a small laugh, see if I want to keep it. If it's worth it, if it goes with the rhythm of everything, But if it's funny, fucking do it.
It's funny how calculated the joke writing process is.
Yeah.
But you don't take it further.
No, I think whatever somebody is comfortable doing.
No, I mean in your career. Like you're so calculated with the joke writing process itself,
Oh yeah.
but you won't take it outside of that.
Well, like I've been doing this 8 years, and for those first fucking 7.5 years, I only started really working on the act in June. Like I wrote that 5 minutes or whatever that you saw. I wrote that in a month because I was just like fucking hitting the pavement. But for the first whatever years, I was like trying to be that guy. I was like going around. I was emailing people, asking for stuff, and then I was just like, fuck it. It's not working. So the only time I'm seeing any attention is because I'm saying fuck all that and working on the act. This is the only time people are actually coming up to me being like, you're fucking good. So, I'm going to keep going with this because fuck that other shit. I don't want to be a grubbling, I can't do it without it. And I know it's still a business. My fucking therapist would be like, you gotta. It's a business. And I'm like, I'll go in there and I'll bitch about like a booker of something. And he's like, who are you? What do you have? He's like, it's a business, Like I was talking about how, maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but there's a club that doesn't book me because I work at New York Comedy Club a lot. Like
We know who that is.
We all know who it is. And
That is so stupid. That is so fucking
It is.
stupid.
Whatever, they're
And
all
they
going to
don't-
go running back to him anyway. And trust me, once they start booking you, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
They love it. They love it.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going
One
to
thing
jerk
I
off
will
and I'm going to
say-
go,
Yeah, you're going to yeah.
Yeah. But what
It's
this
fine.
stand.
Whatever.
Oh, we're gonna have to
I
bleep
said
that
it.
out.
Who cares? No, don't
cares?
bleep it. Who gives
No,
a
don't
shit?
bleep it.
I'm
But,
kidding.
The thing
But
about
here-
Scott and
It
Emilio,
was a goddamn joke.
the thing about Scott and Emilio is
Brr.
they want their comics
you, Brendan.
and whoever performs to succeed. Like that's what you should want
Yeah.
for the
I
comics.
want them to succeed because I want you to be happy. Emilio wants you to succeed so he can take credit for it.
Yes, and he should. He should take credit.
He shouldn't. Emilio's a great
He
guy.
should take not all credit. I'm not.
I always
he
call
shouldn't
him
be
the
like,
Jesus of comedy.
You know. But he should be like, we gave him a fucking home. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No,
are
but
we
the thing.
done?
Let me finish that whole thing
Okay.
with how the stand doesn't book. They shouldn't. Like, who am I? I'm nothing. It's a business. If I can't fucking draw,
No, but
they
that's
have
being
no-
petty. That's being super, super petty. And I'm not saying it could be for anyone.
it's-
and they do it with a lot of comics. It's just so ridiculous.
It's petty, but
I
I'm
think-
not going to hold it against them.
But to Brendan's point, though, do you know for a fact that's why they're not booking you, or is it because
so many comics.
Yeah, I know.
They've said it. It's,
No, I know. Yeah,
yeah.
I know for sure. That's why they aren't booking
fuck
me.
them.
But then
No, but
why
not
do you,
fuck them because who gives a shit? It's I work. There are comics that are huge that don't work that club. Like there's nothing. That's like the working that club is like one of those things where I was like, man, that's where all the cool guys work. That's where all the guys that are on TV work, and that's where I want to work. And it's like, whatever. If it's not happening, you know. But then you have the people that are at the alt rooms that are on TV that are doing it and going on late night shows that don't work at the stand, but they'll, you know, it doesn't fucking matter. I get that it's a business, and I wouldn't even say like, you know, maybe this is revealing too much, but if you want to be the guy, like a part of me wants to be the guy where if I ever made it and I'm ever like this big, I could be like, and if they'll come groveling back and I'll tell them to go fuck myself. But if they might not ever come groveling back, and even if they did, I'd be like, yeah, okay. It's a fucking business.
I think that's a great attitude.
It
to
is a
have. I mean,
business, and when they close because they can't keep up with their whatever the fuck that restaurant is, we'll still be here for you, buddy.
You'll always be here.
We'll have some weird room in Atlantic City for you, buddy.
I can't wait
We'll
to
always
perform
have
in front
some
of
weird
lips.
place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Brendan.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Is he
I'm
plug
not-
stuff or what?
I'm not done
Oh, yeah.
yet. We're not
No,
done
we've
yet.
gone
This
pretty.
is-
We've
this
gone
is
Yeah,
part
this
three.
is no, Nick. Come on.
You guys do
Let's
parts?
not get crazy.
No, we don't do parts.
Once again, I'm
What do you
kidding
wanna-
around. That's like the first time they've ever been on a goddamn comedy podcast.
Nick's just having so much fun. He doesn't want to go back to work.
I haven't. I
Which
haven't
is
been at
fine with
work.
me,
I
because
haven't been at work since yesterday at noon when I left. And
I
went
could
to
not
the,
tell you what he does, to be honest.
Send emails?
Spoiler alert. Neither can I.
He's here for morale.
What do you got coming
Hungry. Just
Who
follow
said
me
I'm
on.
hungry? Did you just say I'm hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
There's snacks upstairs, bananas.
I'll take a banana.
But
Okay,
there's also
can we let him plug his stuff?
There's like bars, like sugary bars.
We also have coffee brought to you by Coffee Bean
might have
Direct,
another coffee
our
too, but-
unofficial sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brendan Sagalow, and come out to my shows and see what the fuck's going on.
You actually post your schedule on like some
Kind
comics.
of. I don't really.
Greg Stone was here last week. He was like, I never post my calendar. I don't. Whatever.
Are you
Yeah,
doing
I
Scott's
don't-
Comedy 45 for the festival?
What?
For the New York Comedy Festival? You must.
I
be-
would love to.
No, I think. Fucking Amy. I think you're supposed to be booked on it already.
What day is it?
I don't know. The
Because
20
she-
something. 21st.
She books me, but
Well, I'm doing my
21st.
show.
I think it's the 6th.
November. Oh yeah, you're right. It
November
is the 6th.
21st?
No, it's the 6th.
November 6th.
Something like yes, November 6th. November
good.
6th, I'm having my show, Scott's Comedy 45, where we have musicians and a band play between the comic sets.
I'd love to
And
do a spot on that.
If you'd like to see Sagalow, come to that show.
Fuck yeah.
There it is. That's how you do it.
And if you want to see Rachel, come to the club. She's working at the club.
And make sure you tip her because she has to afford her own health insurance. Wow.
So fun, guys. So fun. Thank you for listening, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for listening to This Is Not a Green Room. We are available wherever you get your podcasts, including Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and iTunes, as well as the Laughable app. And wherever you're listening to us, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so that other people can find us and love us too. You can find us online at Not a Green Room on Instagram and Twitter, and you can check out the club at New York Comedy on Twitter and NY Comedy Club on Facebook and Instagram.